So imagine this. A single entity gains control over more than half of a blockchain's network. Suddenly, they have the power to rewrite transaction history, double spend coins, and completely undermine the trust of the system. Sounds like a plot twist from a science fiction thriller, right? But it's non-fiction. It's called a 51% attack, and it's one of the most biggest threats to the blockchain networks. If you're into crypto or just curious about how blockchain security works, this is something you absolutely need to understand. In this video, we're going to go and break down what a 51% attack is, how it happens, and what it means. So here's the problem. Blockchain is supposed to be decentralized and secure, right? That's the whole point. But what happens if a single entity or a group of individuals colluding together manages to take control of more than 50% of the network's mining power or hash rate? Suddenly, the entire system is vulnerable. They could potentially double spend coins, prevent transactions from being confirmed, or even reverse transactions that have already been completed. This kind of attack could completely undermine the trust that blockchain networks are built on. So, how does it happen? And more importantly, how can we protect against it? That's exactly what we're going to dive into for the future of blockchain technology. Stick around because this is critical information for anyone interested in the world of crypto. So, what exactly is a 51% attack? At its core, a 51% attack occurs when an individual or group of miners controls more than 50% of the blockchain's hash rate. The hash rate is the total computational power used to mine and validate transactions on the network. When somebody controls more than half of this power, they essentially have the ability to manipulate the blockchain to their advantage. Let's break it down. So, mining power. In proof of work blockchains like Bitcoin, transactions are grouped together into blocks and added to the blockchain by miners. These miners compete to solve complex mathematical puzzles, and the first one to solve the puzzle gets to add the next block to the blockchain, earning a reward. The more computational power, in brackets hash rate, a miner has, the better their chances of solving the puzzle first. Controlling the network. In a normal decentralized network, no single miner or group has enough power to dominate the system. But if one entity controls more than 50% of the hash rate, they can essentially outpace the other miners, giving them the ability to create a new chain of blocks that becomes the true blockchain because it has the most computational work behind it. And then there's double spending. One of the most concerning consequences of a 51% is the ability to double spend coins. Here's how it works. The attacker could send a certain amount of cryptocurrency to one address, have it confirmed, and then use their majority control to rewrite the blockchain's history, creating a new chain where the transactions never happened. This would allow them to spend the same coins again, effectively double spending them. This breaks one of the fundamental principles of blockchain technology, that once a transaction is confirmed, it is final and irreversible. And then we have blocking and reversing transactions. With a 51% attack, the attacker can choose to block transactions from being confirmed, effectively freezing funds. They could also reverse transactions that have already been confirmed on the blockchain, causing complete chaos and undermining the trust of the network. So let's have a look at the impacts of a 51% attack. First of all, loss of trust. The most intimidating effect of a 51% attack is the loss of trust in the blockchain network. Users rely on the immutability and security of the blockchain to protect their assets, ensure the integrity of transactions. If an attack occurs, it shatters this trust, leading to loss of confidence in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain in question. You also have financial loss. Double spending and reversing transactions can lead to a significant financial loss for users, exchanges, and other participants in the blockchain ecosystem. For instance, exchanges could be tricked into accepting payments that are later reversed, causing them to lose large sums of money. And then we have market volatility. When news of a 51% attack breaks, it can cause panic in the market, leading to sharp drops in value, affecting cryptocurrency. This kind of volatility can be a ripple effect across the entire crypto market, affecting other coins and tokens as well that weren't even impacted. And finally, we have regulatory scrutiny. A successful 51% attack could also attract negative attention from regulators, governments, and financial authorities. May see such attacks as evidence that blockchain technology is not secure or as secure as it claims to be, leading to increased scrutiny and potential regulations of the industry that aren't positive. So, what's the likelihood of a 51% attack? They sound pretty scary, but how likely are they to actually happen? Network size really does matter when you think about this. The likelihood of a 51% attack largely depends on the size of the blockchain network. In large, well-established networks like Bitcoin, where the hash rate is distributed among thousands of miners, a 51% attack is extremely unlikely. The sheer amount of computational power required to gain control of more than 50% of the network is astonishing, making it financially unfeasible for a single entity to pull this off. Smaller blockchains are at risk. On the other hand, smaller blockchain networks with less mining power are much more vulnerable. In these networks, it's much easier and less costly for a single entity or group of, colluding individuals to, gain majority control and launch a 51% attack. So be mindful of that when investing in startups. And finally, centralized mining pools. Another factor to consider is the centralization of mining power in large mining pools. If a single mining pool or group of pools control more than 50% of the hash rate, it could potentially coordinate a 51% attack. This is why decentralization of mining power is so important to the security of the network. So that brings us to the important part. How can blockchain networks protect themselves against a 51% attack? So first of all, increasing network hash rate. One of the most effective ways to protect against a 51% attack is to increase the network's hash rate. The more computational power distributed across the network, the harder and more expensive it becomes for any single entity to gain majority control. This is why large networks like Bitcoin are so secure. Attacking them would require immense amounts of resources. Another way would be decentralizing mining power. Encouraging decentralization of mining power is a critical step. When mining power is distributed across a large number of independent miners, it becomes much more difficult for one entity to control the majority of the network's hash power. This can be achieved by supporting smaller miners, discouraging mining centralization, and promoting the use of decentralized mining pools. And they're switching to different consensus mechanisms. Some blockchains are exploring alternative consensus mechanisms that are less vulnerable to 51% attacks. For example, proof of stake systems where validators are chosen based on the number of coins they hold rather than the computational power is just one consensus mechanism that a lot of blockchains are turning to. And finally, implementing checkpoints and safeguards. Some blockchain networks implement additional safeguards such as checkpoints and venality protocols, which makes it more difficult for attackers to recognize the blockchain and reverse transactions. These measures add an extra layer of security by making it harder to alter the blockchain history. So, 51% attacks are not theoretical, they actually do happen. Let's have a look at a couple of real world examples. First of all, we've got Ethereum Classic, ticker ETC. Back in January 2019, Ethereum Classic suffered a 51% attack where the attackers managed to double spend coins worth over $1 million. Then we have Bitcoin Gold, ticker BTG. Bitcoin Gold, a fork of Bitcoin, has been a target of multiple 51% attacks. The most notable occurred back in May 2018, where attackers were able to double spend millions of dollars worth of BTG. The incident highlighted the vulnerabilities of smaller blockchain networks and led to the loss of trust in Bitcoin Gold. So if you enjoyed today's video, do hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. What I would say is you should definitely check out this video immediately on how to understand what DePIN is and why it's something that we should be focused on and researching. Thanks for watching. Take care. I'll catch you in the next one.